What is going on, everybody? So today we have a problem. If you are seeing this footage and you're confused about what happened to all the chests and why there's a refined storage system here and why I've got like everything growing in the backyard, it's because I just lost 2 hours of footage. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to get to see how I built this crafting grid with all this storage. You're not going to see me plant stuff. Definitely not going to talk about the reactor back here. And this impossible setup over here. Okay, so let's go through this. Now, this was the most basic way that I found that works. Okay, all you gotta do is make a 9x9. And these lily pads of fertility. I don't know, I guess they've been like buffed or something because they work extremely well. So if I take... Okay, so I don't want to use one that's already working. Do you have... No, you don't. Do you have... You do. Okay, so take iron for example. Well, hold on. I want to find one that... Okay, I'll use this one for an example. So I have a 9x9 surrounded by these lily pads. This is a harvester pylon. You put the hose in there and it harvests and sends the items to the chest. Now, if I clear this out, it will fill up pretty quickly. This basic setup is not the fastest. I'm not claiming that it is. I'm not claiming it's the best, but it uses no power. You don't have to worry about it. And I can just basically leave the game running while I farm resources. So it's been like a minute. And I've already got 1 stack of blaze essence. And it's working on the 2nd stack. I wanted to go through and focus on the resources that I needed immediately. So like diamond, uranium for the reactor. I don't know what I was doing with Enderman. And then the basic Inferium farm. Okay, moving on to the next thing. Now, those lily pads are very expensive to make. I needed some materials from a mob spawner. So, basically I set up this little mob farming glass prison thingy. And if you'll notice, you'll see all the items over there that are kind of bunched up. Those are the items that I do not care about. And the way that I have it is it's all filtered into this backpack, right? And then the backpack spits out the experience into the crystal. And then the items over here on this shelf. Now, I was specifically farming this, and... What's the other mob drop? I think it was slime pearls. But all that crap that's up there that's not being collected, it's because I have a filter on this. So, like, where's my filter? So it's just these 4 items that are getting pulled into this backpack and then distributed on that wall. Okay, next thing. Let's talk about mechanism for a second. I needed to get the ore processing done. So like this setup here, it's nothing important. That was just what I needed for materials. I needed to build this so I can get brine. The brine is then pumped into this separator to create chlorine. Okay, well that is then pumped up here into the infuser to make hydrogen chloride. So you got the chlorine on one side and then you got the hydrogen on the other. And this is just making hydrogen. Okay, so you got this little portion of the setup. Ultimately, I decided to use these ender tanks because it was an easy way to move one liquid to the next machine. Then over here, I had to make sulfuric acid. So in order to do that, I needed this machine. In order to make, I had to fill it with hydrogen chloride, which is where the ender tanks come into play. And that is making the sulfur that I needed to put in here. And that gets turned into sulfur dioxide. Then that gets pumped over here into the infuser to make sulfur trioxide. And then that gets pumped over here. Well, no, actually, hold up. Okay, all this is doing is making hydrogen. And this is making the water vapor. Okay, so ultimately I end up with sulfuric acid, which I'm then pumping into this ender tank. Then I took the ender tank way over here, and this is where the actual ore processing is done. So, like say, for example, do I have any raw materials? I mean, yeah, I do. Let's go with platinum. So, I'm going to pull out one raw platinum, and I'm going to put it here, and it's going to sit there and not do anything. Okay, I figured out the problem. So anyway, this is what we do. We put raw tin in here, and it takes 3 for whatever reason. So we put 3 raw tin in there. That gets converted into the dirty tin slurry, which then gets turned into clean slurry using this machine. Then it comes to the crystallizer. Crystallizer takes the clean slurry. Any day now. I need to get speed upgrades on this. And it turns it into these crystals, which then is, it's going too fast now. Okay, these crystals get put into here, get chopped up into other crystals, and eventually become clumps. The clumps are then processed into dirty tin dust. Goes to the enrichment chamber, gets turned into clean dust, well, just normal dust, and then it gets smelted down into the ingot. Here. Okay, so we put in 3 raw tin, and we got 10 out of it. 3 ore turns into 10. And that is why I spent all this time making this entire setup to turn 3 raw ore into 10 ingots. That is called superior management. Now, in order to get all that setup completed, I had to get a bigger reactor because this little thing wasn't cutting it. Okay, don't ever let anybody tell you size doesn't matter. It does. I've got the uranium feeding into this. And then I've got the waste coming out on this side. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, just know that this is the last Minecraft video I am going to upload for a while. And the main reason behind that is not because I've run out of stuff to do. And it's not because of etc., insert generic random response here. It's because Starfield is coming out. And I'm going to be playing Starfield like there's no tomorrow. So thank you for watching, and until next time.